So Pokemon Gen 10 has finally been announced, Pokemon Winds and Waves, and it is dropping 2027, which is crazy that we're not getting a new generation this year for the 30th anniversary. But it's also big news for the Pokemon anime because it puts us in a weird spot. We've never really seen this before, so let's discuss what Pokemon Winds and Waves could mean for the future of the franchise and the anime especially. So Pokemon Winds and Waves was announced for 2027. The region is looking very tropical. There's a lot of speculation that it is based around Southeast Asia, specifically the Philippines. It looks pretty cool, gives me a mix of Hoenn and Alola vibes, which is always great. And there is a large focus on water and undersea exploration. So IGN, steer clear. And we also got the 3 new starters announced. We have Brault, Pombon, and Gekua. These guys are all pretty cool. Honestly, I didn't really like any of them when I first saw them, but they have all grown on me so much, and I think that's similar to a lot of people with every single generation. I am leaning towards Brault at the moment, but who knows, that could change. But I'm definitely going to be talking more about these guys a bit later, because I want to mainly focus on what this means for the anime, because Pokemon Horizons is in its 3rd year right now and coming towards the conclusion of its current arc and the major overarching plotline. So a 2027 release, what does this mean? Usually the new anime comes out with the games, so basically this means Horizons is going to go on for a 4th year. It might not be exactly 4 years, because I can definitely see Horizons finishing towards the back end of this year, and then maybe Winds and Waves releases with the new anime at the start of next year. But we haven't had a 4-year anime in a very long time. Diamond and Pearl was the last, having 191 episodes. So Horizons is going to have to cook up some more story. We're going to get to our Battle Frontier kind of arc. I mean, I'm not against it. These characters have a lot of potential to do this. We could really see anything. We could return to focusing on battling, gym battles, tournaments. We could get some tie-in to Pokemon Champions maybe. See some of them characters come to the anime since that's coming out in April. There's a lot of potential for the story after the main plot comes to an end. But I think it's in the best interest for everyone to stop dragging out this Explorer's plotline and move on to something new. So I'm all for it. But there is also potential for the Horizons characters to go even beyond a 4th year and into Gen 10, giving the existing characters new Pokemon from this new region, as we've seen before with Ash. We don't really know what's after Horizons. We're in a very strange place with it. After Ash left the Pokemon anime after over 25 years, we got a brand new series with new characters. Maybe that will just happen again. Maybe Gen 10 will give us something else tied to the new region and its characters. We could get a brand new anime with a bunch of new casts for each generation going forward, similar to what other big media franchises have done, which I would be open to. But if I'm talking about just what I want, first off, I want Horizons to be set in the same timeline as Ash's anime. I think it's a big possibility still, but it hasn't really been confirmed. And then I just want an anime that takes place in the same world. Sure, we can have new characters, new Winds and Waves related stories, and a new trainer setting out from scratch again. That always brings excitement, but I do feel we are missing that old feeling, that old world, the old characters. I would like a big combination of everything really, which means there will be chances to bring back Ash anime characters, Horizons characters, and just have fun with this giant anime world that we have built. I don't really see the need for a full-on reset again. Sure, we need to spend some time with some new characters and build them up, showcase their journey, don't let the old characters overshadow them. But I just want the potential for there to be this giant world that feels lived in and feels like we could have anyone show up at any time.
Go Nidoqueen, Gary!
So let's talk about the starters again, and just for fun, if Ash Ketchum was to return to the Pokemon anime, what do you think he would pick as his starter? Honestly, I can see any 3 of these cool little dudes joining Ash on his journey. Brault, who I am leaning towards at the moment, is so Ash coded. He's basically another version of Rowlet, whereas Rowlet was more sleeping and laid back. I can see Brault just causing chaos and being angry if Ash isn't giving him enough attention. And then there's Pombom, who I can definitely see being Ash's friendly, lovable doggo. Ash has always had close bonds with his fire types, so a dog would give him more massive potential for a great dynamic. Then Gekua, this one I keep going back and forth on, because from appearance alone he looks really cool, but then I think back to Sobble and becoming Inteleon. Not to say that I hate Inteleon, but I think he was more disliked by the majority. People wanted something a bit cooler, and I feel we could get a similar situation here. You can see this long lizard reptile creature on all fours, maybe giving it the poison type as well. It would be super cool. But at the moment I think Gekwa is the least fitting for Ash. Let's give it to Misty or Brock or someone. And staying on the starters, if the Horizons trio are to stick around for a bit longer and end up getting these starters in Gen 10, it's hard to really pin who would get what, as we can't give them the same typings they had before. I think Brault has Roy written all over him. I can just see him causing chaos for him, having a lot of fun, similar to how Fukoko always used to cause them shenanigans. Pom Bomb, as much as I want to say Liko, that would mean Dot would get a water starter again, so Pom Bomb is going to Dot. A cute doggo would do wonders in her streams because everyone loves a doggo. Think of the amount of interaction she'd get. But also it's just different. Gekwa is the most Dot coded, I think, because it looks quite withdrawn and subtle, just like Dot. But giving her a more out there Pokemon and a chaotic doggo could just create a different sort of dynamic. And then that leaves Liko with Gekwa, which could also be cool depending on what it evolves into, of course. But overall, I don't think this will happen. I think the Horizons group are just so broken right now, or legendaries, mega evolutions, you name it. They have so many powerhouses, so I think it will be hard to keep them around for a brand new series. I'm looking forward to what's to come for a Gen 10 anime. We might find ourselves in a really weird place where we're getting new characters with every generation, just like Yu-Gi-Oh used to do, but I hope we don't go fully away from what came before. It would be nice just to have the whole world of characters and possibilities to explore. Obviously I would love to see characters like Ash, Serena, Brock, everyone appear from the older series. It just makes more hype and gets more people talking. But first and foremost, it has to be a good story. I'm sure whatever the Gen 10 games are based around, we're going to see that. Maybe they would be better off going back to the basics, letting us explore the region itself. I feel like with Paldea we haven't really had that much exploration of the actual region. We keep going back to Naranja Academy and Laventia, but the best part of Horizons was the terrestrial training course where we got to live and breathe the actual region itself. We need to get back to that in my opinion. The region needs a good old fashioned exploration, especially as it's looking to be one of the biggest and immersive regions we've ever had, with a whole underwater section being playable by the looks of it. And I mean, I personally would love to go back to gyms and big tournaments, back to rivalries that mean something. It feels like we haven't had a great rivalry between two trainers since Sun and Moon. Ash didn't really have it in Journeys, and we don't have any of that in Horizons. So I'd like to take the positives from Horizons, great story and focused plot lines, also good character writing, and mix that in with what we had before with Ash, the journey, the adventure, more explosive battles, meaningful rivalries. That for me would be the perfect Pokemon anime. Throw some old characters in and really dive into this new region, and the next era of the Pokemon anime would be perfect.